I am an enterprise systems engineer from Australian Community Media, ACM for short. We are expected to be a national archive of material. There really is no set get rid of stuff because we need to keep all our data since the inception of keeping news. So cost control and storage growth is a big one for us. So that's where we're at now. We're trying to build first in the cloud and try and keep our costs down because AWS keep putting their costs up, as we know. Once you're locked into that kind of cloud environment, you're at the mercy of the vendor. You build in the cloud, it's on someone else's service, on someone else's infrastructure. You still need to protect that. They are responsible for the infrastructure in the cloud, but you're responsible for how you back up your data and the costs associated with backing up that data. That's something that we really didn't plan for. And that's something that we're actually constantly reviewing to this day to keep those backup costs down. So back when we opened our AWS account almost a decade ago now, or over a decade ago, there was no real easy way to back up our EC2 instances. And we didn't have any visibility of what was actually protected or what we assumed that was protected. So having the N2W dashboard is great. AWS has snapshot backup capability, but you're on your own with managing that. N2W was the product that was easy to set up. The billing was included within Marketplace, so that was handy as well. Have it all in one place, and the ability to create policies and simple retentions and copying between accounts, and not just EC2 instances, but RDS databases. So I found that keeping those snapshots under control and restoring them, including all the configurations which you needed to remember manually, N2W just handled all that for me. So in terms of high availability, if we need to restore something, you can restore that EC2 instance straight away. You don't have to remember what the IP address was, the security group, what VPC it was in, all that stuff is all captured as part of the backup. If you did that manually, you'd have to remember all that stuff. So it's quite painless if using N2W. And with cost control, if you're managing snapshots yourself, that just becomes a nightmare exponentially depending on the number of instances you have. But there's scenarios where I use N2W not just because I needed to restore a backup, but actually moving resources to other regions or other accounts. With N2W, you can add multiple AWS accounts. You can add other cloud providers and copy between them. So I can move an EC2 instance to Frankfurt region, and I could just do that within the N2W dashboard. It would have been a bit of a process to do that through the AWS console. So my philosophy is set it up and then forget about it unless notified otherwise. So that's why I love N2W. I spend some time setting it up and then I leave it do its thing. It's consistent. Everything is backed up the same way. We don't have different processes or different naming conventions for how we take snapshots and backup. It's all done the same way. We know what things are protected and what things aren't protected. So there's good visibility. Obviously, the automation part of it and recovery confidence. We can test restores and stuff like that. It's like an insurance policy. We pay for insurance, but we don't often use it. When we do, we want it to work. Yeah, just basically reduced operational overhead so I can free up my time to do more fun things. Simplicity wins. The less moving parts, the less things that can go wrong.